Hello and welcome to another episode of Game of Two Halves. This is Vijay and this is Valley. How are you, Valley? How are you
Good,
doing?
brother. Good, man. How are you?
I'm very good, man. Good weekend, huh?
Yeah. For you, not for me, man. For us, it was a lukewarm weekend.
So, what do we have planned for today?
Oh,
What's
man.
on our episode today?
It's interesting stuff. We are reviewing last week what happened. Newcastle. Somebody bought a Newcastle.
Yep.
Yeah. And what else are we looking at? We're looking at
Standings. I think
we're looking
we'll
at
go
the
through the
gap
standings.
between you and me in the Fantasy Premier League.
That's what you are looking at. I'm not even looking at that. But yeah, that's what we have. So let's get this episode started. So
Yeah.
what did you watch the big game of last week?
Yeah, man.
Liverpool versus
I watched Liverpool versus Man City. I was with some friends, and I went to this guy's house. He's a huge Liverpool fan, full of Liverpool fans in the house. But it was like a very Goan night in Kuwait. For those people who don't know, I'm in Kuwait, and we had cutlet pav, and we
Oh
had
wow.
yeah, man, we had croquets and stuff like that. So I have to say thanks to
Very
Alistair
nice.
and the family and friends all who were there.
Thanks, Alistair, for treating my friend well.
Yeah,
And thanks for the result also. It was
yeah,
amazing.
but I was a bad guest, man, because I was cheering on Man City. Oh, man. But
I
what
can
a game it
imagine,
was!
yeah.
Honestly, like talking about the game, what a game it was. The first half could be completely erased. I think it was just a game like of 2 hours show, game of 2 halves. It was literally a game of 2 halves. The first half, I don't know. Man City dominated, I feel, but you can't really say they dominated because it's just a boring first half. And then second half was killer, and Mo Salah, that goal is, I think it's a
Yeah.
typical Mo Salah goal. I've seen it done before by Mo Salah, but I feel already from all the matches in, I think, game week 7, it's the best goal so far.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch the match. I was out with my colleagues, so I saw the highlights, and that was an amazing goal, man. And I think even the goals that Manchester City scored were really good. Foden's goal also, that I think it
Yeah,
was a left-footed shot in the corner.
yeah,
Brilliant, man. He likes scoring against Liverpool, and I think I had mentioned it also in our previous episode that he scored
yeah,
a hat trick against Liverpool last time out.
yeah.
So overall for Chelsea, it was a great game. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have been a better result for us. And yeah, about Chelsea's game, I predicted 3-0 in our last episode, and we ended up conceding one goal. It was a very bad challenge by Chilwell on Livramento. So that's
Yeah,
fine, but we are back to winning ways and sitting on top of the table feels good.
yeah. I think it
What do you
was.
make of your?
I
Yeah,
think just on Chelsea, I think it was a good win to get, especially after those two defeats, because no matter what, it's always, I always firmly believe it's a confidence game, and then getting a 3 goal victory is always a good booster. And then the way they ended the kind of the week is being on top of the table. So definitely a good week to end on, or a high note to end on Chelsea.
yeah, indeed, man. And I watched a little bit of the game. I don't know why I didn't watch the whole game, but the intensity was crazy. I think we scored 2 goals towards the end of the game, I think, and
Hmm.
I mean, it was a good game to watch. It was a good win. What about your game, man?
Well, everyone, all the Arsenal fans who were talking about top 4 finish, we could even compete for the top 2 positions, got a bit of a reality check. Like I said, I think, I don't know if I said it was a 1-1 draw or a
No,
1-0.
you went for a 2-1. You went for a 1-0. I went for a 2-1. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
so
Arsenal.
I knew that Arsenal's as we've discussed, the Tottenham game has to be looked completely out of context when it comes to Arsenal, because it has nothing to do with form and stuff like that. What we saw against the Brighton the other day was what Arsenal is and where Arsenal have reached. For me, if I have to analyze, and I'm being realistic, in the last 3 years, that was a good performance by Arsenal, because I didn't expect Arsenal to even keep a clean sheet. I was expecting a goal to be conceded, and also there was a possibility that Arsenal could lose, because these are games that Arsenal has lost or drawn in the last few years. Teams like this, and not to forget that Brighton, if they had to play their last two games well, they would have been on top of the league right now. So they are
Yeah.
performing better than expected. No excuses, but I don't think Arsenal are ready to be back in the top four this season at all. Disappointing as an Arsenal fan, but the way they played on last week wasn't exciting at all.
And I think I don't know if you agree with this, but Ramsdale, who has been your one of the most expensive goalkeepers you all
Yeah.
have signed, I think he's the guy saving
Yes.
your team, man. I mean,
Yes.
the saves he made towards the end, in that game and against Tottenham also, I think very important saves for
Yeah.
you guys, and Brighton were almost there. They were almost scoring, but
Yeah.
yeah, good draw.
I think he's a good purchase for Arsenal, and even he's been called up to the England team again. It's the talk is that he could be, getting closer to the number one spot. And the way he's been playing with Arsenal, I think it's a good shout. Unfortunately for him, the previous three times he was in a goal for the last three seasons, he's been relegated. But it's a it's a 11 players team, man. It's not his fault. He was a team relegated.
Yeah, no, I remember watching him when he played with Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
He was with Bournemouth. I think they were playing really good one season, and the next season they were like so bad. Just like who do you have this season? Yeah,
Leeds.
team that's playing really bad. Yeah, who? Sorry.
Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds. I mean, yeah, Leeds, but you still know they have quality. But
Yeah, or
uh,
even Norwich, the way they're playing right now.
Norwich also, right? Yeah, they also. But yeah, moving on to the standings. Yeah, what do you make of the table so far? Now I know it's only 7 game weeks,
Yeah.
and like you mentioned, Brighton, they are on 14 points, even with City and United and Everton. So looking at this table, what do you think is going to change between now and the next international break? What do you think is going to happen?
See, in terms of the table, to be honest, I believe it's the right table format. Like in terms of Chelsea being on top, it's justified the way Chelsea have been playing so far. And this is something that's going to look like, most of the year, you're going to see this Chelsea being on top. Number two for me, Liverpool, which we've been saying throughout this entire season, is that Liverpool is the silent kind of killer underdog who nobody is really expecting this year, but they have performed consistently. And just a note, they're the only team that hasn't lost this season after 7 games.
Yeah.
So every other team has been defeated, and they played you guys, and they have played Manchester City. So they've played two of their biggest rivals, and they have not lost. So that's already a big plus point when it comes to the end of the season, because this is where your points make a difference. Man City, Man United complete the top four. Again, there's no surprise for me with where this is and the teams, who they are. But I think the people who are outside the top five are what's interesting, because you've got Everton, who's been progressing for the last few years, coming up the table. And then you've got Brentford, which is a really...
We spoke about them last week.
Yeah, we spoke about them last week. A new team, first time in the Premier League, and they are sitting on 7th place. It's too good, man. I'm really impressed with how they've been maintaining their record so far.
Yeah, I'm also impressed with Brighton and Brentford. Like we have not seen Brentford. At least I have not seen Brentford in the Premier League. I mean, you said it's after 64 years they're in the first time in the Premier League. So I don't know how long they can continue doing it. But Brighton are looking like a really solid team.
Yes.
I think their manager doesn't really get the recognition he deserves. They play really well, man. I mean, I don't think you'll see a boring game from that team. If you ever watch their games. they're always wanting to score, attacking, fighting, and they've got really good defenders also. Duffy, for example, he's great at set pieces, headers, and all that. So, and Neil Mopai also, he almost scored against Arsenal. So yeah, but then again, I don't see this standing for a long time. Really, I think the teams like Spurs and West Ham and Arsenal will, I think, start picking up wins once they get into that run of form.
Correct.
So I think between now and the next international break, barring the top four, I think the table is going to shift a little bit up and down. I have a feeling it's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right, and you can already see it because initially in the first few days or the first few weeks of the Premier League, you will see very weird people or teams at the top, and now you can already see it kind of shaping into what it's going to be throughout the rest of the year. Who's really out of the picture right now for me is Arsenal, who is currently on 11th place, and I see that correcting them moving into the top half, but not really challenging in the top 6. I would say they would be looking at the 7 to 10 position. Aston Villa, Leicester City is having a bad season this year.
Horrible. Yeah.
They are in 13th place, but I see them also at some point of time coming back into the picture.
Yeah, Arsenal. I think Arsenal has an easy run of games now. Again, given their form, nothing is easy, and any team is a difficult team in the Premier League. But I think, but before the next international break, you guys have pretty good games. And who do you play after the next international break is Liverpool away.
Yeah.
So and I think that's where your run gets little.
Yeah, the next few games are good because we're playing Crystal Palace, we're playing Aston Villa, we are playing Leicester, we're playing Watford before we go to Liverpool. And these are 3 home games that we have before Liverpool. So that's a good run. But it all depends on what we can do with these games, and these are tricky games. Like I said, Arsenal has not been able to really convincingly win against all of these teams. Aston Villa has got the better of us multiple times.
They beat United just a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, and Leicester is always a tricky game because Vardy, no matter what, always ends up scoring versus Arsenal. So, yeah, man. It's going to be interesting. And even Chelsea's got, to be honest, a very easy run of games. By the standards you guys are playing, I think Brentford would be challenging because you're going away to Brentford. But other than that, I think it's Norwich who's bottom. There's Newcastle who's struggling, and we'll come back to Newcastle again. There's Burnley and then Leicester.
Burnley. No, I think I agree with you. It is quite easy run of fixtures, and we should be able to secure 3 points in all of these. I mean, I'll be really disappointed if we drop points anywhere. I don't care how Brentford played against Liverpool, but we are Chelsea. We should be winning that game, and looking good.
Yeah, and then talking about Newcastle, man, did you see that coming?
Not really. I'm not following Newcastle. I'm not following the news. I had heard in between it was just on and off. I think that deal, right? That takeover, and then boom, suddenly I wake up and I see this news that the takeover has been completed. I'm like, shit, Premier League is getting real. Like, I don't know what to say.
Man, it's very interesting. I mean, I've been reading about it. I think the deal was supposed to go in last year, but the reason it didn't go in last year was because the Premier League had certain conditions that were not met. And one of the main conditions was that it's not a state-controlled club, which means not a particular country government is controlling the club. And they were finally able to sort that out with the different groups coming in together. So it's going to make it interesting because Newcastle, as everybody knows, just like Leeds and some of the other teams that we support, has a huge history. And I think it's been maybe half a decade since they have won anything substantial. So it'll be interesting. I don't see it changing this year. But
half a decade or half a century?
Sorry, half a century.
Yeah.
Half a century, not half a
Half a
decade.
decade, like 5 years, more than that.
No, half a
Yeah.
century. Yeah.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting what the group does. But I don't know how Newcastle fans will be feeling about this, man, because they are a bunch of people who like and kind of want to be controlled by the club, because Arsenal's become very commercial right now. But Newcastle still got that flavor of the locals going there, and they're very vocal about it. And that's what happened with their
Yeah.
current owners. So I don't know how they feel about this, because this would really be taking them away from the type of football they have grown up, and stuff like that. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right what you said, but maybe they might also, again, I don't know, we don't know so much, we don't
Yeah,
stay there, we've
yeah,
never been the local, so, but they might also look at it this way, like, and if you've seen the figures and some of the memes I shared,
yeah,
this guy, this sheikh, is a 300 billion man,
yeah.
and above 300 billion net worth, and the next richest club, I think, in the Premier League is Manchester City,
Yeah.
and they're 20 billion. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. So I
Like,
think
I
that
was
that was also a little funny for
baffled.
me, because you don't need three parties together to buy this one club. He could probably just swipe his Amex and buy the club.
No, but I think I was reading again. I was reading online, and there are mixed opinions. People are saying that money is spoiling football.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's going to be so much talent coming into the Premier League. With all the money that's coming in,
Yeah.
and you've seen that picture. You've seen that picture of the Newcastle team. Haaland, Mbappe, Salah, Neymar, KDB, all of them in that picture. It's so funny. If you can put it somewhere on top over here.
We will get it. No, but just extending your the debate about money and football. I've told you my opinion about this, and I am also of the opinion that right now it's money that is talking and not football. What happens is the top Premier Leagues are more focused on television, on marketing, sales, and stuff like that. And obviously, we get to see exciting football because only the best in the world would be showcased on that stage. But then I feel the gap between that and what's the reality, meaning the school kids who start to play football, I'm talking about, it has a global impact, because everyone wants to be in the English Premier League, but not everyone can be. And then what happens to people who are not able to reach that level? So as long as there is a good system downwards, that money is flowing to the right academies, to the right students and football coaches and stuff like that, I'm okay with it. But it becomes unfair. Like, imagine Brentford, they've just for the first time qualified to the Premier League. They cannot compete with any of these sheikhs or big billionaires. So what happens then? And they're also a club that is partially owned by the supporters. So the supporters have shares in the club. So
Wow.
they feel part of the club, So what happens to all of these things? So
Correct.
that's where I feel sometimes the clubs, I mean, nobody can stop an open market, but there should be some financial fair play, which is much more strict in terms of what the spendings can be, so that the value of players are not inflated, right?
No, but Valley, that's a very good point you made, but I don't see that happening, man, because come on, we sold, we as in, the transfer market we saw,
Yeah,
Jack Grealish went for 100 million, man.
yeah,
So we have already reached three figures, yeah. We've already
correct.
reached three figures. So I don't see how the good players will want to come for anything less.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean
saying to come at Newcastle,
that's a
but
good
I'm saying
example.
to any of this.
No, that's a good example, because if Grealish is going for 100 million and we bought Ben White, who is not even an established player, for 50 million.
50.
So this
Exactly.
this is where I'm saying it becomes unfair, because in my opinion, Ben White should be somewhere around 15 to 20 million max. But we are paying
Max, yeah.
50 million for him. Grealish, I can
Yeah.
understand, because he's got amazing potential, and you're paying that particular kind of a tax so that nobody else takes him. That's the understandable part of it. But again, I feel there has to be some sort of financial watchdog
Control.
over all of these things. But let's see what happens,
Totally,
man.
totally.
And
Yeah.
and
Nothing.
another interesting thing that happened, which we were just discussing before, was one of Arteta's, or not Arteta's, Arsenal's watch out player in the midfield. We were looking at bringing in Basuma from Brighton, but news is that he's been arrested last week
Is
for
it?
yeah. So apparently there was
Oh man.
he was arrested in a nightclub for sexually assaulting a woman. So he and a
Oh.
40-year-old man, his friend, were arrested. Of course, it's not been officially announced anywhere by the police or by the club themselves. They've just said a player of the club. But already, we live in a digital age. So
Yeah.
if you're arrested in a club in in the UK, you're going to be snapped, and that's what happened. So I don't know what the full story is. We'll come to know, but definitely for Arsenal fans who are looking to still get him on board because he is talented, I think this is the end of that story.
No, but yeah. Then again, it's sad to hear, man. And I think he was one of the exciting prospects at
He is,
Brighton.
yeah.
And but then again, there's a saying, no, that you're only guilty if you're found.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you're only charged if you're guilty. I mean, is it? He's already, like, there's evidence against him and all that stuff. Is it already done? Do you know anything about it?
I don't know what the story is basically.
Okay.
Obviously, he's a Mali international. He's not gone on the international break because of his injury. That's the reason he didn't play for a few weeks. So he had gone out clubbing with his friends, and I think during the clubbing, it was a new season. So the new college students coming in, everyone's partying. Something's happened in the club. I think that's where the complaints formed. So I don't see it being a major issue. Obviously, because of the name and how popular it is, so it's going to drag on a bit. But anyway, it's learning. He's a young chap, man, so he'll learn and obviously come out better from it.
Yeah, hope he's not done anything stupid, man, and hope to see him back playing
He
football.
doesn't look like the stupid type, but you never know, man. Imagine.
Looks are deceiving. Sorry about that. Looks are deceiving, bro.
That's true.
All right. So
One day-
let's move on to our last section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Sorry,
think
you were saying-
one day we can share what some of the stupid things you and I did.
Not yet. Only football. But yeah, moving on to our next section, that's FPL. We didn't speak about FPL much last game week,
Yeah.
but this week or the next game week, I think we're going to see a lot of wild cards being used, because I think a lot of people were waiting for this international break to use their wild card.
Yep.
And because Chelsea's fixtures are going to turn, like we discussed, there's an easy run of fixture for Chelsea, and on the other hand, Manchester United fixtures are going to get horrible. So I think a lot of people will want to shift Ronaldo out and bring Lukaku in.
Yeah.
I have not owned Lukaku till now, and I think I did pretty well without him, but I think it's time to consider him again. So how's your FPL going, bro?
I had a horrible week. Can you guess what's the score what I scored last week?
17.
Close enough. I was 19, man. 19.
Oh, I've not seen your score. Oh, shit.
Man, I'll just read out the points that I got. Okay, it's like basic. I got for Diaz 0, Cancelo 0, Havertz 0. Then I got Michael 1, Van Bissaka 2, Jorginho 1, Tillemans 1. The only people who actually really supported me were my own players. Ben White 7 and Saka 3. Man.
Why do you even have all these people in your team, bro?
I don't know, dude. I need to really revisit. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see. Look at my bench.
No, yeah, Alexander-Arnold is injured. He's had a serious injury.
I got Calvert-Lewin injured, who was supposed to be doing good for me. I got Conte injured.
Dude, Calvert-Lewin got injured long back, and we discussed this on our episode. If you're not going to follow my advice or our advice,
he's like like that mutual fund, you keep him and you watch him grow,
That's not how FPL works. He's injured, dude. If you won't go on the pitch, how you'll get points?
Man, I don't want to sell him, dude. He doesn't have any value now selling him.
Oh, you never know. There are a lot of value players out there you can get. So I'm also in a fix here. I don't have my wild card. Like I told you, I already used it the week Ronaldo came back,
Yeah.
and that worked out well for me. But I have to. Last week was not very good. I fell from 11,000 overall to 30,000 overall. So,
Okay. Wow.
oof, yeah, that's a
That's a big drop, man.
bad drop. Big drop, but that's fine. Still in the top 30,000, top 50,000 is okay. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 weeks. You get the team right, and you're
Yeah.
right back on with green arrows. So I think a lot of people will use the wild card, and if you still have the wild card, you should play it. This is a good time to play it. Just wait till all the matches get over to see what the injury situation is of players. I think some players who are playing for Brazil, Rafinha, Alisson, and Thiago Silva, won't be able to play their matches next game week. They are going to miss because their game is just one on Friday is their game
Okay.
against Peru, or I don't know, some South American team, and Saturday is the Premier League. No way they are traveling across the globe and playing the next day.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So you got to watch out for those players. See that you play a wild card properly, and
But just a question on
I
that for me. If we are using the wild card now, and we've got the Africa Cup of Nations tournament coming up in January, where again you will lose out a lot of the players from Africa. So, like for example, in Arsenal, Thomas Partey will go, Aubameyang will go, Pepe will go. So we'll lose out a lot of players. So do I keep my wild card till then, or should I use it now? What do you think?
No, you get two wild cards in the season. You
Okay.
get one for the first half of the season. So first 19 games you get one wild card, and
Okay.
from the 20th game week you get the second wild card. So if you're planning to use it and thinking about the African Cup of Nations, then you will have the second wild card available then.
All
So
right.
don't waste this wild card. Yeah, use it, because if you don't use it, it's not that you'll have two in the second half.
Yeah.
You'll have only one second half. So one in the first half, first 19 games, and one in the second half, second
Oh.
19 games.
And then in terms of goals, I'm kind of trying to look at from where the goals are coming. I feel a lot of it is coming from midfield and not out and out strikers alone. So are we looking at strengthening the midfield more, and then having the good like one good option in striker? What do you think? What's a good strategy there?
Yeah. So that's a very good point. So there are a lot of budget strikers. For example, Raul Jimenez is there. Okay. Then you have who's that guy from Brentford? Tony is there.
Yeah.
He's just 6 point something, and they are very good value for that. Okay, so if you're looking to invest in your midfield, see midfield there are a couple of must-haves. Okay, one is Salah. You cannot go this season without him. He
Yeah.
scored in every game till today, and he's the highest scorer in FPL already.
Yeah.
So Salah you cannot go without. And I would say once Rafinha is back, Rafinha is somebody you would want to have. He's very influential in that Leeds team. Okay, then you will need somebody from Manchester City. Okay, because they don't have a striker, so they have to get their goals from a midfielder. So I would say Grealish or Foden, between one of these guys, depending on your budget. You can go for one of these. I think Grealish is a very good long-term pick, because eventually, or Kevin De Bruyne, because you know how he plays. But KDB is really expensive, so you got to work it out properly. But I would say that you will need at least two premium defenders. So go for two premium defenders. Now my strategy is I will probably be going for one of the Manchester City defenders, because they will keep a lot of clean sheets for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So try and invest. Trent Alexander-Arnold is 100%. So Salah and Alexander-Arnold is somebody you cannot go without this entire season. Alexander-Arnold is literally a midfielder for that price. Plus for a goal he gives you one extra point. For a clean sheet you get extra points. He's always he's always playing on top in the box.
Yeah.
So he and Salah I think are must-haves throughout the season for me. and look at investing in Chelsea and Manchester City defenders also.
All right. So let me put this question to the audience as well as to you. What would be your FPL 11? And if you can leave it in the comments, you guys let us know what, according to you, is your top FPL. But my question, also my second question is, I've got Ronaldo in my team, and if I have to swap him, do I swap him for Salah? Is that a good trade?
You cannot, because he's a forward.
Okay.
Salah is a midfielder.
But if I'm
you'll have to waste
if I'm looking to structure my team, do I move Ronaldo out and someone from midfield and get a Salah in? What do you think? I'm talking about the budget wise.
Yes, I just told you. I think Ronaldo's fixtures are going to turn now. Like I told you, they're playing. They're going to play Liverpool, and I'm going to just tell you. Sorry, I don't remember. They're going to play Liverpool, Tottenham, and Manchester City back to back.
Oh wow!
And then they'll leave one game, and then they're playing Chelsea. So Manchester United fixtures are going to turn. So I think it's a good idea to drop Ronaldo now, because there are a lot of other places or other budget strikers who will give you a lot of points. Ronaldo is just going to occupy that extra cash for you. You can free that up, and if you don't have Salah, come on, get it, man. I mean, get him. I mean, you can't go without Salah in FPL. You just can't, because he is the whole and heart and soul of Liverpool, or whatever you want to say it.
Yeah.
If he is not scoring, he is assisting, man. If he is not assisting, somebody is getting a penalty and he's scoring a penalty. So you got to have him, man.
All right, cool. That's some good advice there, man.
You're welcome.
All right. I think that wraps it up for this week, right?
Have a good one, and catch you next week.
Yeah.
Where we will review
we'll
review the games for the next game week, and some more FPL stuff. Yeah.
All right. Some good tips, Vijay. Hopefully I can come better on the other side of the international break. And
all the best.
Yeah, man. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for having me on the show.
You too. Thank you. Good one. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, and please wish this guy luck to catch up with me in FPL. Yeah,
I don't know which side you will come on the final edit. So
I don't know, but yeah.
Anyways, man.
All right, man. See you, man. Have a good weekend.
What? What?